What do you really want? Hi, I'm Alycia Kinchloe, the owner of Kinchloe Law, a family law practice based in the Philadelphia area. Today we're going to talk about the relief that you ask for in your contempt petitions. Now, when a party or parties have a custody order or agreement that has been put through the court system, each party has the responsibility of following that order. Now, at times, people can agree to adjust that order as necessary. Hey, I'm going to be late or out of town. Can we change or switch the dates for the custodial times or days? Hey, yes, that's fine. That's not an issue. But when one party takes it upon themselves to not follow the order, there can be severe ramifications for that. And one way that happens is by filing a contempt petition. Now, this is the point of the video where I remind you that you want to speak with an attorney licensed in your state about the facts specific to your case, and remind you that this video is not legal advice but are for tips only. All right. Now, when you file a contempt petition, you're basically asserting that the other party has willfully, so basically intentionally, not followed the order. Now, there are times when it's going to be difficult for someone to follow an order, right? For example, if they're in a hospital, they probably can't make the exchange, but there may be ways for them to make sure that you get the child. The court is going to look at the willful part. Once you get past the willful part, they're going to look at what the order expressed that you were supposed to do and how and whether it was done. Further along in the order is going to be, and usually at the end, the remedy or the relief that you're seeking. A lot of times I see that people leave this part out. They basically say they want the other person to be held in contempt. In the back of the head, they want something back, like they may want makeup time because the other party withheld the child for a period of time, but they don't actually ask for it. It's important that you ask for what you want. And again, I'm going to remind you to speak with your attorney because you can't get everything, but there are certain things that you can absolutely get. First, we're going to start off with the statute, and I'm going to link to the statute in the show notes so you can take a look at it yourself. But 23 PA 5323G specifies what types of punishments there are for failing to follow a custody order. So some of the punishments that exist here are imprisonment for a period of not longer than 6 months, a fine of not more than $500, probation for a period of no more than 6 months, an order for non-renewal, suspension, or denial of a driver's license, essentially. And it says licenses, so that can also be, potentially professional licenses as well. So it's important to understand that. And then counsel fees and costs. So those are things that under the statute can be offered. But again, often people want makeup time. And remember, that's not one of the things that's listed there. So if that is a relief that you want to make sure you put that there. If you want to change the order because the other party is not following the order, you have to be specific. The courts have held over and again that when a party is asking for something that's beyond what I just mentioned is in the statute, that it has to be spelled out in a contempt petition so the other parent is on notice and so that the actual judge has the authority to do those things. If the other parent has not been put on notice and is not in a contempt petition, our appellate courts have held that the judge does not necessarily have the authority to be able to modify a custody petition in any way that's not by agreement of the parties. So you want to make sure that if you're asking for a modification, which additional makeup time generally will be, you need to spell that out in your relief or the remedy that you're seeking in your petition, and or you need to have a petition to modify custody that's going along with this contempt petition. So it's very important for you to understand that because, again, people often are surprised that a person can be found in contempt, and oftentimes the judge may not be willing to actually, the first time, give any real punishment. They might get a slap on the wrist. They might get a stern talking to. But oftentimes the first contempt, unless it's egregious, you're not seeing judges do much more than holding the parties in contempt or the person in contempt. Now, the next time they hold in contempt, the court can look at the fact that they were held in contempt before and may do something a little bit more severe. But you want to make sure you ask for that. And if you are going to have an attorney, one of the relief that I mentioned that the statute allows is for counsel costs. So I always, as a matter of course, include that any petitions that I file. I will amend a petition that was filed by a pro se litigant, so person who filed on their own, to make sure that I ask for that once I come into the case. And then I make sure that I submit my documents so that my client gets some of their money back, if not all, for having to file this petition in court and having to come into court and argue their case because the other person is refusing to follow the custody order. All right, so I hope to shed a little bit of light and reminded you or taught you something new about asking for what it is that you want in your contempt petitions, so that you don't waste months of time getting just for the court to say the person was wrong and not being able to walk away with something that you really were hoping to get out of going into court. Now, if you have any questions about contempt petitions or custody, divorce, or support, make sure you drop them in the comments below. These videos are here for you to get a better understanding of the way that our family laws work. If you have any questions and you would like to talk to someone from my office, you can call us. The number will be in the show notes along with our website address so you can schedule a consultation. All right. Until next time, take care.